Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatas Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Excuse me. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Creation, Chapter number 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dvaraka, text 9 and 10. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tatha Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsu Gautamo Yamao Vrikrodarascha Dhamyascha Striyo Matsya Sutadayaha Na Sehire Vimuyanto Viraham Sharangadhanamanaha Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tatha Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsu Gautamo Yamao Vrikrodarascha Dhamyascha Striyo Matsya Sutadayaha Nasehi Revamuyanto Viraham Sharangadhanavanaha Subhadra Draupadi Kunti Virata Tanaya Tatha Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha Yuyutsu Gautamo Yamao Vrikrodarascha Dhamyascha Striyo Matsya Sutadayaha Nasehi Vimayunto Viraham Sharanga Dhanavanaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Synonyms first. Subhadra, the sister of Krishna. Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas. Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas. Virata Tanaya, the daughter of Virata or Uttara. Tatha, also. Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhana. Dhritarashtraha, the father of Duryodhana. Cha, and Yuyutsuhu, the son of Dhritarashtra, by his Vaishya wife. Gautamaha, Kripacharya. Yamau, the twin brothers Nakul and Sahadev. Vrikodaraha, Bhima. Cha, and Dhaumyaha, Dhaumya. Cha, and Striyaha, also other ladies of the palace. Matsya Sutadayaha, the daughter of a fisherman or Satyavati Bhishma's stepmother. Na, could not, Sehire, tolerate. Vimuyantaha, almost fainting. Viraham, separation. Sharangadhanavaha, of Sri Krishna, who bears a conch in his hand. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhimsen, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive for the living beings, especially for the devotees, that it is impossible for them to tolerate separation. The conditioned soul, under the spell of illusory energy, forgets the Lord. Otherwise, he cannot. The feeling of such separation cannot be described, but can simply be imagined by devotees only. After his separation from Vrindavan and the innocent rural cowherd boys, girls, ladies, and others, they all felt shock throughout their lives and the separation of Radharani, the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. Once they met at Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse, and the feeling which was expressed by them is heart-rending. There is, of course, a difference in the qualities of the transcendental devotees of the Lord, but none of them who have ever contacted the Lord by direct communion or otherwise can leave Him for a moment. That is the attitude of the pure devotee. Translation once again. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yujutsu, Kripacharya, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhimasen, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. Om Ajnanathimirandaस्य Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So as we can see, this verse is actually talking about Vipralamba Bhav, which is yoga in separation. And we see from the verse all these great personalities who have gathered just before Krishna is ready to depart for Dvaraka. So we see there Subhadra, sister of Krishna. There is Draupadi, who is the wife of the Pandavas. Kunti, who is the mother of the Pandavas. Gandhari, who is the wife of Dhritarashtra and mother of Kauravas. And Dhritarashtra, who is the husband of Gandhari. Yujutsu, he is the son of Dhritarashtra from Vaishya wife. Kripacharya, who is the priest and general. Nakul, Sahadev, and Bhima, who are the brothers of Arjuna and also known as the Pandavas. There's Dhaumya, who is the royal priest. And finally, there's Satyavati, who is Bhishma Dev's stepmother. So we see all these great personalities, they have gathered there because Krishna is about to depart for Dvaraka. And in this verse, we can see the yoga in separation. They are saying farewell to Krishna, which they don't want to. They cannot bear the thought of separation from Krishna. And that's why this verse says that they were almost fainting. They all nearly fainted because they couldn't bear the separation. And we see the mention of Bhima. And Bhima, he such a powerful personality, so well built and powerful. He killed so many in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And he killed Dushasan. He killed Jarasandh. Such a powerful person. It is said that he was like a stone-hearted person. He was but he also fainted, almost fainted, even though he is so strong. So imagine if Bhima could faint, then what to speak about the ladies who were there? We have heard from Mahabharata that Gandhari, because she thought that it's because of Krishna that her whole dynasty was killed. All her sons were killed in the battlefield. So she cursed Krishna, that just like my dynasty was, destroyed by you, I curse you that your dynasty also will be destroyed. So, even though she cursed Krishna and even though there was so much fighting amongst themselves, how come she was fainting? She was the one who shouldn't be fainting, who shouldn't be feeling the separation from Krishna, because she was not on the side of Krishna. And she was very upset that all her sons were dead in the battlefield. So how come she is fainting? So Prabhupada nicely explains that from this we can understand that Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, even though they were offenders at the feet of Vaishnavas, they shouldn't be fainting, but they still were. Why? Because the power of association with not only with Krishna, but the lovers of Krishna. Krishna's lovers, which are all these great personalities mentioned in this verse. So they had that association with these great devotees. So all the impurities that were there in the hearts of Dhritarashtra and Gandhari was washed away. See how powerful association is. We don't even realize the power of devotee association. It is very, very powerful. It can help the devotees to not only cleanse the heart of whatever little impurities that might be there, but not only that, also help in progressing in spiritual life. And we can see from this verse that associates of Krishna were also there, like Kunti, the Pandavas, Subhadra, Uttara. These are the intense lovers of Krishna. We have heard prayers of Queen Kunti. From her prayers, we can see how intensely she loved Krishna. So these are intense lovers of Krishna. And they were also compassionate to give association to others. So we should look for those intense lovers of Krishna and associate with them. We should crave for their association. And one of the best methods, one of the best methods is reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Because when we read his books, we are associating with the intense lover of Krishna. That is the benefit we get. How much separation one feels for Krishna is directly proportionate to how much attachment one has for the Lord. The more we are attached, the more the intense separation feeling is there, that emotion is there. The more the attachment, the stronger the feeling of separation. And advanced devotees, they feel that separation from Krishna. And this separation is called Vipralamba. And this is the highest yoga in separation. Yoga, we have learned, means connecting with the Lord. So we can connect with the Lord even in separation. One may say, how is that possible? Krishna is not there in front of you. How can there be a connection? Definitely, because it's on the spiritual level. So this is the yoga which is connecting with the Lord in separation. And it is said it's the king of yoga because it's the highest stage of bhakti yoga. And what happens? The desire to meet Krishna, to see Krishna, like Srila Prabhupada mentions the gopis and the cowherd boys and all, they, after Krishna left Vrindavan, of course Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but when he left Vrindavan and, went to Mathura and then to Dvaraka, this intense feeling of separation by Radharani, by the other residents of Vrindavan for Krishna, that was so intense. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has taught us this Vipralamba Bhav. He was always shedding tears in separation for Krishna. Even though he's Radha and Krishna together, he was in the mood of Srimati Radharani. This is devotion in separation. In fact, in the Shikshastakam, the 8 verses that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left for us, he says, Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravashayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahanime. What does that mean? He says, Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. What an intense feeling of separation. One moment like 12 years or more. So here we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is expressing his separation in the mood of Srimati Radharani. One moment equal to 12 years or more. This gives us an idea about Radharani's separation from Krishna. We have read the Krishna book in Srimad Bhagavatam about the madness in separation, not that madness like a mental hospital, but that madness for Krishna, where Srimati Radharani is talking to the trees, to all the other living entities, to talking to the bumblebee, because of in the mood of separation. That is what we can see from even the mood of the Vrajavasis, all those living in Vrindavan. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he mentions the separation of Radharani, who is the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. Now when Srila Prabhupada is saying it's beyond expression, we have seen there are so many aspects of devotional life that is beyond our conception. That's something that goes over the top of the head, or inconceivable. Like Krishna it's impossible to understand him. But yet, we hear about it, we read about it, so that gradually we can come to that understanding. So Radharani is the most beloved cowherd girl, and her separation from Krishna is beyond expression. So love in separation is more stronger than love in communion, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. Excuse me. Just like there is a saying, absence makes the heart stronger. This is said by Shakespeare, William Shakespeare. Absence makes the heart stronger. And we, probably all of us, have experienced that. When we are with someone whom we love, we do not really appreciate their presence so much. But only after they are not in front of us, or they are gone for a few days, a few months, a few years, or whatever it may be, that's when we realize, oh, I really love this person a lot. So that absence makes the heart grow stronger, which means that helps us to realize what we are missing. Unfortunately, I'm speaking about myself, most of us, we don't have that feeling of separation. It's like every day goes by like any other day. Okay, today is Tuesday, yesterday was Monday, tomorrow will be Wednesday, and we just go on with our lives. You know, yes, we have done the Morning Strong program, we've chanted and read, but beyond that, what? Do we sit down to meditate on how much progress are we making in our spiritual lives? What is it that is lacking? What is it that needs to be, there needs to be an improvement? What can I do to increase my association with devotees? What can I do to remove the anarthas from my heart? And how can I reach the stage of pure devotion? Because that is where Krishna consciousness will begin. And that is where there is a hope for separation from Krishna. So this verse is really very, very powerful. And it is teaching us that there is a lot of power, there is a lot of devotion even in separation. Srila Prabhupada was asked, what will we do after you're gone? And what did Srila Prabhupada say? Vapu and Vani. My Vani is there. Vapu is there now, may not be there tomorrow, but Vani is also equally powerful. Instructions. And he said, you can associate with me in my books. But unfortunately, that feeling of separation from the Lord is missing. I'm again talking about myself. But Krishna is so attractive that the devotees, they cannot bear separation from him. Srila Prabhupada is talking about pure devotees who are so attracted to Krishna that they cannot bear the separation, like we see in this verse. All these great personalities, they are unable to bear the separation from Krishna. And Prabhupada says that those who have contacted Krishna, they cannot leave him. That is the attitude of pure devotee. That is the last sentence of this purport. That is the attitude of a pure devotee. Contacted Krishna, which means built a very powerful relationship with Krishna, connected with him, and now cannot leave him. Then one may say, but Krishna is leaving for Dvaraka. What do you mean cannot leave Krishna? It means from within the heart they cannot leave Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says, we can attain this state even without seeing Krishna. Sometimes people say, show me God, then I will believe there is God. Are we qualified to see him? Why should he just present himself to whomsoever wants to see him? No, we got to qualify ourselves to see God. But here, Srila Prabhupada is saying one can attain this state, this attitude of a pure devotee, even without seeing Krishna. How? By hearing about him. Because the sound vibrations are very, very powerful. We can see that, yes, we cannot see Krishna, but we can see him in Srimad Bhagavatam. We can see Krishna in Srila Prabhupada's books. It's not necessary that we have to see his beautiful form right in front of us. That also we can see in the beautiful pictures in Srimad Bhagavatam. We can find Krishna in Srila Prabhupada's books. How come? How is that possible? Because the purports of Srila Prabhupada in his books, that increases our attraction for Krishna. Just hearing about him, how beautiful he is. The description of Krishna, his beautiful lotus-like eyes, his beautiful black curly hair, the bluish complexion, the yellow silk garments, this beautiful description of Krishna in Srila Prabhupada's books. And just by hearing or reading, that can, kind of invoke attraction for Krishna. Then what will happen? When there is attraction for Krishna, there will be no more attraction for materialism. Materialism will reduce. Spiritual fever will go up, material fever will start going down. When devotees ask, how do I know if I'm progressing spiritually? This is the answer. Very simple. When we see our material fever is going down, spiritual fever is going up, we know we are progressing spiritually. And if we are not able to figure out, then we take help of an advanced devotee and inquire. But inquire submissively. And not only that, take the feedback positively. Be ready for the feedback. Many times, I have also experienced when devotees, they ask questions just like that. Just because, there's a phrase, just because, No, when we ask question, it should be with the attitude of, I want to learn. That is what is there in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya, that inquire submissively. Keep aside the notion, I know it. Because you never know. Every time I ask a question, I learn something new. Something that I hadn't heard before or read before. Because being conditioned souls, I'm again talking about myself. Being conditioned soul, it's not possible to know everything. It's not possible because the knowledge is unlimited, Krishna is unlimited. So how is it possible to know everything now? So when we start seriously and sincerely on the spiritual path, then automatically the attraction for materialism will start going down. Now Srila Prabhupada mentions that the pure devotees, they cannot tolerate separation from Krishna. But generally speaking, it doesn't really, one doesn't really think, am I far away from Krishna? I'm separate from Krishna. There's no separation feeling. It's like, let me just go on with my day as usual. Have a checklist, to-do list as it's called. I need to do this. Like I make a calendar, on my phone for each day, what all needs to be done. Mostly it is, read Srila Prabhupada's books or whatever. But then there are other things that need to be done too. We are living in a material world. We have some material responsibilities, so we need to take care of them. But how many times do we sit down and feel the separation that, oh, I'm so far away from Krishna, in the sense I haven't yet reached that stage of spirituality where there is purity in my heart. I can still feel that sometimes I do get envious, sometimes I do get angry, all these impurities. What am I doing to get rid of them? Because until and unless we purify ourselves, become pure devotees, there's no question of separation from Krishna. But those who are in Maya, they don't know anything. They've just forgotten Krishna. One way to start on this journey of reaching pure devotion would be if we meditate on Srila Prabhupada's struggles, his tribulations, all the difficulties he had to go through just to give us Krishna consciousness. Then there will be appreciation for his books. Then one would want to read his books. Not just read, but read scrutinizingly with determination. We cannot understand Krishna with logic or intelligence. That's not possible. And that is why Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita that we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master. So we need to approach Srila Prabhupada. We need to approach a bona fide spiritual master if we have one. And then try to understand. What does it say? Tattva darshinaha, that bona fide spiritual master, he has seen the truth. Because Krishna says, within I am as a super soul, as the Paramatma, and without I am the bona fide spiritual master. So he is there to guide us, to show us the way with the instructions. So all we need to do is just accept the words of Srila Prabhupada and the spiritual master. If one is satisfied with material benefits that come from bhakti, you see, there are some benefits that come. when we come to spiritual life. Some may have those benefits, some may not have those. But if one is satisfied with material benefits that come from bhakti, then what happens? One becomes lazy. Then one thinks, I have done enough in spiritual life. I don't need to do anything more. My job is done, I have really struggled hard. I have really chanted a lot. I have read a lot. I have done everything. How much more do you want me to do? I am tired. This is enough for this life. I'm done. That is the mind working. And the Bhagavad Gita tells us that the mind can be our best friend or our worst enemy. We choose. It is our choice. So because we choose, then we have to face the consequences, no one else. So it's a very tricky situation. If a devotee should be very vigilant, very, very alert, and anytime, the mind leads the devotee towards laziness, immediately catch it and stop the mind. Say, sorry for saying this, but tell the mind to shut up. We don't want to hear you because you're taking me in the wrong direction. I want you to be my best friend and not my enemy. So when the thought comes, especially when I'm preaching, those who are, new in learning about Krishna consciousness, so we start slow. We don't give them a bead bag in hand on day one and say, okay, chant 16 rounds. They will run away and never come back. So gradually give knowledge, educate them in spirituality, and then gradually, okay, then say chant 2 rounds and 4 rounds and 8 rounds, and gradually, and then follow 4 regulative principles, offer the food, and etc., etc. But sometimes some of them say, you are just going on increasing, telling us do this, that, and that, this is too much. How much more do you want us to do? There's only so much we can do. But then we make the choice. We decide, do I want this to be my last life? Do I want this body to be my last body? I don't want to come back into this material world. If the answer is yes, then we need to be vigilant. We need to be in Krishna consciousness 24/7. There's no other choice. So here we see we have a choice. Like Krishna tells us even in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15. He says, Sarvasya chaham riddhi sanivishto. I'm there in the heart. And he says, from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Now, Arjuna, you choose what you want. So we choose. If we have the desire to get knowledge, Krishna will give us the opportunity. But then again, it's our choice. Do we take advantage of the opportunity or just let it go? It is our choice. So if we say this is enough for this life, then Krishna will say, okay, that's enough for me too. I don't need to do anything more. Sometimes, I have heard this actually, where after the lecture when there are question answer session, so sometimes, they say, I think it is easy to go back to Godhead if you're in the US. Hello. Why? Because there are better facilities, there's comfortable life, it's easy to perform devotional service. Is that true? No, it depends on each individual. If the devotee is sincere, it doesn't matter what the place is. The devotee will definitely progress. And, if a person is in the US with better facilities and comfortable life, may still not perform devotional service and become, complacent. Because if the mind is uncontrolled, the place does not matter where we are. A person may be living in Vrindavan and still not performing pure devotional service. A person may be living in, a very remote place, living in poverty, but can still be a pure devotee. It all depends on the mind. It's the mind that plays the games. It's the mind who says, oh, you know what? It's almost 10 p.m. I am really tired. I have a headache and my body is aching. So tomorrow morning, let me not keep the alarm. Let me just wake up whenever I wake up so that I am all relaxed and rested so I can do better devotional service next day. That's the mind talking. So if the mind is uncontrolled, the place does not matter. We need to train the mind. Train the mind to be Krishna conscious always. Always. Otherwise, what will happen? At the time of death, we may not think of Krishna. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajjatanti kalevaram. Whatever state we are in at the time of death, to that state we will attain, Krishna says, without fail. That means there is no possibility of maybe, perhaps, no. He's made it very, very clear. So mind is a very powerful tool. We need to use it wisely. We need to train it. We need to discipline it. And that is why Srila Prabhupada has given us the whole process of Krishna consciousness. How we can train the mind. One simple method in Kali Yuga is Kalautad Hari Kirtanat. Just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just by chanting, we can control the mind. And we can make the mind our best friend. So in this verse, we see Srila Prabhupada, just like always, here also he is stressing on the importance of associating with devotees. Association, just like Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, by associating with lovers of Krishna, they were able to purify themselves. And now we can see they are feeling the separation from Krishna because Krishna is getting ready to depart for Dvaraka. So association of devotees can help one to actually develop genuine love for Krishna. Hearing, chanting, following regulative principles strictly, eating only Krishna prasadam, all these things together helps the devotee. So we need to search for devotee association. If we cannot find devotee association, then read Srila Prabhupada books and associate with him. Take full advantage of it. So if association is so important in our spiritual lives, then why not associate every day? Every day. Read his books every day because Srila Prabhupada says, when you read my books, your intelligence will be sharpened. Even Krishna tells this to Arjuna, sharpen your intelligence with the weapon of knowledge. Because with the help of knowledge, when the intelligence is sharpened, then it becomes easy to control and train the mind. Because the mind can be controlled only with the help of intelligence. So when one makes sincere efforts, then one can purify one's existence and come to the level of pure devotion. Then at that level of pure devotion, it will be impossible to bear the separation from Krishna. See? So this verse, what is it talking about? Separation, that they are almost fainting because they cannot bear the thought of separation from Krishna. When I was reading this verse, I was thinking that what if Krishna was there right in front of me? Just the thought brings goosebumps. What if, Krishna was there right in front? And he gave his darshan and now he's leaving. Oh Krishna, how can you leave? You know, how difficult it would be to let go Krishna, go away from the sight. But what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? There's no difference. There's no difference between Krishna, his holy name, his paraphernalia. So even the holy name, when we are chanting the holy name, we are associating with Krishna. He is with us because there's no difference between him and his holy name and his pastimes. So this verse once again. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakula, Sahadev, Bhimsen, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. So I'll stop here. Thank you. Hare Krishna.